Well, it's interesting you should ask about the gift of healing. I'm speaking to people who, I take it, read the Bible. Now tell me, have you ever in all the scriptures read of a gift called the gift of healing? Most people are going to say, oh yes, I have. I think I read about that in 1 Corinthians someplace. No, you didn't. You did not. It's very significant that the Bible talks about the gift of tongues, the gift of interpretation of tongues. But when it speaks of healing, it speaks of gifts of healing. Why would that be? Why would it be? I recognize that the apostles and those who were directly with them in their ministry or the fruit of their ministry, many of them had an ability given by God to heal. The apostles actually even raised the dead. At least some of them did, raise the dead. So yes, they had a power that was unique to them and those who were with them in their ministry, a power that was never passed on to anybody else. That's another story. But the notion that God installed in the church a gift that he gave to a class of people, that man is now a healer, that's not in the New Testament. Every healing was God's gift. But by putting it that way, it's the gift to the recipient. In other words, the New Testament does not say that there is a class of people who are healers. It does not say that there is a gift to be bestowed upon a man that makes him now a faith healer. He has the gift of healing. He doesn't. He does not. Does God heal? Can God heal? Well, God does at times heal. There are times he doesn't. And let me make that clear. There is a crazy, crazy notion going about today that Christians should not get sick, because if they get sick, it's because of sin. Unless God intends just to let them die, that's their time to go. I have a friend sent me an email recently, and he suffers a lot. He suffers a lot mostly because of his service in the military for this country. And we are very grateful to him for his service. And yet Christians have come to him and told him, it's because of sin that you're sick. It's because of sin that you're suffering. Maybe even you're not saved because you're suffering. This is a guy who's suffering because he laid his life in the line to save these idiots. And I call them idiots, for that's what they are. Dangerous idiots. Sin is not, it's the remote cause of all sickness in the world, but it's not the immediate cause of every sickness and every illness. Let's get that very, very clear. It is therefore not always the will of God to heal. And it's certainly not always the will of God to heal miraculously, even in apostolic times. Paul, who had seen many people healed, did not get the gift of healing for himself. He had to put up with the thorn in his flesh, the messenger of Satan, to buffet him. He had to leave Trophimus behind him sick at Miletus. He had to tell Timothy to take wine as a medicine for an ailing stomach and for his many and often infirmities. So, it's not always the will of God to heal. But are there miraculous healings available today? No. If you understand what miracle means. But does God answer prayer to give specific healing to individual Christians at times? Yes, He does. And I've seen the Lord answer prayer and do that according to His will. The Lord answers prayer. That is a far cry, however, from the sign miracles of the New Testament. If you get sick and you believe the Lord should be asked to heal you, the New Testament tells you what to do. And it's not go and hold a healing crusade and call in Benny Hinn and his cohorts. The Bible doesn't tell you to do that sort of thing. In James 5, it tells you to call for the elders of the church. There's a lot of discussion about that passage that time does not allow me to enter into today. But giving it its widest possible interpretation, this is the only provision made for the ongoing New Testament church to submit as a church body a person before the Lord for healing according to His will. So, can God heal you? He may, if it's His will. He may use a doctor, He may use a surgeon. Can He do it without them? Yes, He can. He can speed up, slow down, or eradicate any process of the body. He can do that. But when these people talk about the gift of healing, I know some of them say they raise the dead. You notice it's always in the middle of Africa or someplace where you can never catch up with the people and find out if it happened. And the pictures they show, and I've seen some of these pictures, have been proved forensically to have been pictures that have been patched together electronically. In other words, they're frauds. But the next time you have one of these guys who has the gift of healing, just bring a man who's been born blind. Bring a child who has been, or a person, because not a child anymore, a grown adult, who has been afflicted from birth because of thalidomide. And instead of having arms, they maybe have hands coming right out of their shoulders, or little feet coming right out of their thighs. Heal them. Would the apostles have seen that done? Yes, they would. They saw the blind made to see, the deaf to hear, the dead to come to life. That's a miracle. These people who talk about the gift of healing, they can come to poor sufferers like that soldier and torment them. They'll not go to the blind and give them sight. They'll not go to the people with one leg and see them immediately grow another leg. No, sir. In other words, they're talking about something radically different from what the apostles experienced. So, your question again? The gift of healing, A, never existed. The Bible never talks about it. Every healing is a gift of God to the recipient. But that miraculous power that Paul and Peter had, does anybody have it today? Plain simple answer, no way.